All right, it's time for you to knock fear and perfectionism off its pedestal. We're doing that in this video. And my intention is that by the end of this video, you will be on the pedestal, not fear, not perfectionism. So, look, fear and perfectionism are intertwined, okay? So, throughout this video, I'm going to use both interchangeably, and in my eyes, they are the same thing. All right. So, what this video is not about, it's not about me telling you how you need to be fearless or how you shouldn't fear. The point is, first of all, it's important to acknowledge fear, but not to identify with it and not to put it on a pedestal. All right, so that's what this video is about. We're knocking fear and perfectionism off the pedestal. No more. All right, so where did this come from? Why am I doing this video? I was sitting on a call. It was I don't even want to call it a conference call, but it was more so I guess you could say, inspirational session, webinar, seminar, whatever. And you had a lot of people that were given the opportunity to come through to talk about their ventures and what they were doing, whether it was, starting a business, or if they were moving to another country, or just doing something different in their life that they were afraid of to do before, but they just took the leap and did it. Now, what I also noticed is that there are so many people that have not moved, that are scared to move toward or even just accept or embrace the vision that they have for their life, because the main theme was fear. I saw a lot of comments, different iterations of the same thing, but people were saying, well, I don't know if this is the perfect time, or I'm trying to get through fear. That's another thing we're going to talk about, is the verbiage that we use. I'm trying to get through fear. Or I saw a couple of people say, oh, I'm fighting through fear and perfectionism, and then one day I'll do this thing. So that is what has sparked this video, because I've talked about fear and perfectionism before, and it's not necessarily something that I wanted to keep focusing on, because my thought is, you don't focus on what you don't want. But I'm seeing that I need to talk about this fear and perfectionism a little bit more, because it's still it has so many people in a chokehold, because we have put fear and perfectionism on a pedestal. All right. So why do we do this? Why? First, we're taught, if something is not perfect, if it is not void of flaws, if it's not void of blemishes, if it's not void of smudges, if it is not completely flawless, and we could even get into what you even consider a flaw, that would be another video, then we're taught it's not worth producing. We're taught if it's not perfect, it's not even worth talking about. It's not worth making, and the list goes on and on. We're taught that perfectionism is tied to external validation. All right, so that's one of the reasons why we put fear and perfectionism on a pedestal. All right, so some of you may be saying, well, if you, like, say for example, if you write a song, if you're a songwriter, you want to get into writing songs, And let's say, well, I'm a songwriter and I don't want to put out anything that's not perfect. I don't want to put anything that is not right, or I don't want to put out anything that's just trash. I don't want to just put anything out into the world. Okay, that's a valid statement. It's a valid concern. However, let's look at what are the cons of perfectionism. All right. So the cons of perfectionism is that it chips away from the joy in just producing. Now, when I'm using the verb, I'm using producing because it applies to whatever it is that you are creating, whatever it is. Okay. So I'm just going to use I'm going to use that word to apply to everything, okay? So it chips away at your joy of producing and creating. So the act of creating for the sake of creating, it contributes to your identity. It contributes to your expansion. It contributes to your essence. How? Because through the process of producing, through the process of your songwriting, and I'm going to stick with that example, through the process of that, you learn how you want to express yourself, because that's coming from the inside. There's no external anything. There's no external influences coming in. Okay, that's coming from you. You learn how to trust your intuition that tells you and shows you what is fulfilling to your soul. Again, this has nothing to do with external validation. So if you're writing this song and you're constantly thinking, okay, wait, this isn't perfect, this doesn't sound perfect, it's not perfect, it's not. You see how that takes away from just the whole joy of just writing the song? How can you, it may take writing 10 songs for you to come to know your own style of writing. Every songwriter has a different style of writing. It may take writing 10 songs and putting out 10 songs in the world for you to say, oh wait, I feel fulfilled when I write about this topic versus when I write about this topic. Again, nothing to do with external validation. It's not that, and you have to reframe, it's not that you're putting something out there. You're putting out you're sharing your journey is what you're doing. And that's with anything. I'm using songwriting since I started with that example. I want to stay with it. You're sharing your journey with people. Okay? That in itself, there's so much essence in just that, in doing that. So let's get back to now. Okay, so though we just went through the cons of perfectionism, okay, chips away at the joy of just creating and the joy of doing and producing, okay? So knocking perfectionism and fear off its pedestal. So when I talked about where the idea for this video came from, I told you that some of the comments that I was noticing in that meeting was how, people are saying, well, I can't embrace, really what they're saying is I can't embrace the vision that I want for myself because I'm still fighting through fear and perfectionism. So let's address this fighting through fear. While you are using the example of writing the song, while you are producing the song, while you are writing the song, it doesn't mean that fear is going away. Fear could still be right there. Like a pesky fly, a pesky gnat, a petty person, just right there. And that's why I said at the top of this video is not about me telling you you shouldn't be afraid, me telling you you shouldn't feel fear, me telling you to be fearless. No, not at all. Fear could be whispering while you are still producing and still and saying, you know what, I'm embracing my vision. This is what I want for my life. This is how I want to be. This is what I want to do with my time. This is how I want to live. Fear could still be whispering to you and whispering in your ear all the reasons why you should not be doing that. Fear could still be sitting there telling you all the reasons why what you are producing isn't good enough and why you should wait until it's perfect before you share it with anybody. Forget the world. But fear could be sitting right on your shoulder telling you, pointing out all the little things that are wrong or that need to be fixed. Don't share it. It's not perfect yet. Don't share it. It's not good enough. Fear could still be sitting there. And here's where your identity comes into play. Your identity, meaning your higher self, your cosmic self, that universal intelligent self that you are one with. It's not separate from you. When you know who you are, you realize you don't have to fight fear. You don't have to fight perfectionism. Your self-identity is what is going to be the thing that knocks fear and perfectionism off of its pedestal. Because you get to say, when you know who you are, you say, okay, fear, I see you. I see you trying to creep in. Okay, you're not going to get too far. Sure, take a seat, have a drink, tap me on my shoulder, whisper all you want. I see you here. I see you here. You can say that when you know who you are. You don't have to fight it. You don't have to kick it away. You don't have to argue with fear. You don't have to argue with perfectionism. Because when you know who you are, that is what takes the pedestal. So take your seat back. Take your throne back. Take your joy back. Take your pedestal back. You don't have to fight with anything or anyone when you know who you are. All right, so that's it. That's what I wanted to say in this video. Thank you to my newest subscribers that have found the channel. I love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, thank you so much for listening. Check out the links that I have in the description box that take you to my collective, all right, my creations. Check it out at iconicbytamu.com. If you have any questions for me, leave them in the comments. Let me know what your takeaways are from this video. Let me know that in the comments. And until next time, cheers.